Hey everybody, Greg Bunch, Transformers Institute. Today I'm super excited to share with you more information about our Gold Mastermind program. Our Gold Mastermind program has been working for the last couple years. We've got a couple groups going, and we're going to be continuing to grow this program because we've had such great success with it. So, a lot of you know my history, but just to refresh a little bit, Greg Bunch. I own 5 auto repair shops in Colorado, and then about 5 years ago, I started a platinum mastermind group, which was centered around multi-store owners. And as we grew that from kind of a part-time job that I had on top of running my auto repair stores, Transformers Institute has become one of the premier training and consulting groups within the automotive repair industry. And one of the pillars of our success are these mastermind groups. So I'm super excited to share with you more about what this program entails and some of the successes that we've had within the group. So with that, I'm going to roll right in here and start sharing with you. So the concept of a mastermind really came from a gentleman back born in the 1800s and really became famous at the turn of the century called his name was Napoleon Hill. And what he did is he went around and he interviewed. He was a entrepreneur, but he was also a journalist, really is what he got his foundation in. So he went around and he interviewed the likes of Henry Ford, Harvey Firestone, Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, Theodore Roosevelt, John D. Rockefeller, and Charles Schwab. And he said, guys, what do you do differently than what everybody else does? And you'll recognize most of those names because they were truly the movers and shakers of the 20th century. They were the people that really birthed the Industrial Revolution and put America on the map. And so what he realized is that all of these guys had a form of a mastermind group. Now, maybe they didn't call it a mastermind group, and that was a term that Napoleon Hill himself coined. Calling it the Mastermind Alliance, and he talks about it in the 1920s book, The Laws of Success. So now we kind of modernize it and call it a mastermind group. And the principle is it's the coordination of knowledge and effort of 2 or more people who work for a definite purpose in the spirit of harmony, which sounds pretty simple. Saying no 2 minds can ever come together, thereby without creating a third invisible, intangible force which may be likened to a third mind or the mastermind. And we're going to dig deeper. I'm going to share a little bit more about the magic and the concept and how this works in the real world. It sounds kind of ethereal and kind of out, but really there's some real practical ways that we've seen this work within our organization. It's important that we have this conversation up front, though. In business, you really have 3 types of business personalities. Number 1 is the technician. And when I went into business, I was kind of in between the technician and the manager. I was an ASC L1 master technician. And so I definitely went into business with a technician mindset that I'm going to exchange dollars for my time. And I'm just going to do it better than I think the guy that I work for. And so when you're in that technician mentality, you're building widgets, you're fixing cars, you're doing whatever, and so you're in this, and really a lot of us in the industry, the approximately 95% of shop owners either were technicians that work for somebody else or are continuing to be technicians in their own business. And there's nothing wrong with that. We need great technicians, and we need business owners who are technicians. But there is a mindset that goes along with being a technician. And so if your business is small and you're the guy that works on the cars every day, we want to be there to help you, but a mastermind group may not be the best place for you. Then you move into the manager. And so this is, manager, service advisor. And you think about it, right? The technician, we think in hours. We think billable hours. We think about how many hours did we flag today. The manager, now they're thinking, what do we do for the week? What did we do for the month? What did we do for the quarter? And they're motivated to get their people to achieve goals. And so there's a lot of tactical, there's a lot of strategy in that, meaning tactical, meaning the manager's probably still selling tickets, he's probably still ordering parts, doing a lot of the day-to-day operations of things. And I find this is where I would say 90% of automotive repair shops in America today live kind of in this manager world. And then you've got the entrepreneur. And so, yes, everybody probably listening to this is an entrepreneur because you're have your own business, you have your own auto shop, which is why you're listening to this. But there's some people that have gone beyond, they've gotten themselves out of the technician role, out of the manager role, and into the entrepreneurial role. And so now we're working on the business, not in the business. Doesn't mean that you don't have your hands in it. It doesn't mean you're living on the beach. But a strategic, visionary approach to the business. You're working on the business. You have a great grasp on your finances. You understand equity. You've thought about your exit strategy. You've talked about a growth plan. You set goals. You're familiar with what a SWOT analysis is. You read business books. You're working on personal development. You're working on business development. You're thinking of other opportunities. That's really up in this entrepreneurial square. So people that we find are a really good fit for the Gold Mastermind program are kind of somewhere in between the manager and that entrepreneur. They know that there's more, that there's things that they want to achieve, and so they don't have to be there yet. It is something that you grow into. It doesn't happen overnight, but understand that's kind of this area is where we find people fit our group really, really well. So, you do a bit of a self-evaluation and think about where you're at in your cycle as a business person. There's a lot of confusion out there on a mastermind versus a 20 group. And I will tell you that a mastermind is not a 20 group. And it's not a structured training program. I know there's a lot of 20 groups out there. There's a lot of structured training programs. Some of those companies put a blending of those two together. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a traditional 20 group or a traditional training program. It's just different than what we have, and we believe. I've been through both of those. I've been through training programs. I've been in multiple 20 groups, and what I found is moving up into a mastermind concept is different, but it's usually people that have been through a 20 group or through training. This is the what's next when it comes to their personal, professional, and business development. So a 20 group and training program are designed for shops that need to get fixed. They're broken. They need to get fixed. There's education, there's accountability that goes into those kind of groups. And again, I learned a lot. I would not be here where I'm at without being involved in the groups that I've been involved in before. But again, it's just not what our program is. There are some likenesses and there are some differences, and I'm going to share that with you. A mastermind group is truly about transformation. And you'll notice the name of my company is Transformers Institute, not because of the robots, even though I like those movies. It's really about transforming the automotive repair industry. And I feel like if I can get a hold of entrepreneurial-minded automotive automotive shop owners, and I can get in their head and expand and understand that we have an opportunity to transform our industry. We have an opportunity to be a light in a kind of a dark place within our industry. We know there's riffraff. We know that our reputation as an industry isn't that great. We're right up there with attorneys and I don't know who else, but used car salesmen. But in my opinion, and I'm biased of course, but I think shop owners are some of the best, most honest, hardworking people that are in this country. And so I want the public to know that. I want to transform our reputation. How are we going to do that? We're going to make you a better shop owner, a better business owner. We're going to get you balanced spiritually, physically, mentally, financially, business acumen. We get really good shop owners, business owners in our communities. They're going to be the employer of choice. They're going to have the best employees. They're going to take the best care of their clients and their customers, and the word is going to spread, and they're going to be profitable, and then they're going to be able to give back. They're going to be able to sponsor those Little League teams. They're going to be able to build a house for Habitat for Humanity, and they're going to be known within their community to go, hey, you need to go to this shop. They treat people right. They're professional. They're honest. They do a great job. They back up their work, all of those things. And if we have enough of these shops all over the country, I promise you, we're going to take the black eye off our industry. Again, not that we're not going to have some shady people around and we're never going to completely get rid of it, but I think in the next 5 or 10 years we can truly make a difference in our industry and really be proud to be in the automotive repair industry. I know I am, and I know some people struggle with that. They struggle with telling their kids to get involved in this industry because of some of the negatives. I want to fix that. So if that's what you're about, if that's kind of the mindset you're coming into, please continue to listen to the presentation here. So mindset change, business acumen, relationships, leadership, networks, that's all encompassed within a true mastermind group. And again, some of that you're going to get from a 20 group, some of that you'll get from training programs, but not necessarily at the level that you're going to get it in a mastermind group, at least a Transformers mastermind group. So let me tell you a little bit about the group dynamics. Each member enlightens the group on their business model, and ideas are tailored to fit each model. So what do I mean by that? I mean, we can have a European specialist, we can have a brake and tire place, we can have a general repair shop, all in the same mastermind group. And it's not about, hey, you need to become this or you need to become that. It's about what are the best practices that work in all three of these businesses that we can elevate up and learn from, because I promise you, the Mercedes guy can learn from the general repair guy. The general repair guy can learn from the Mercedes guy. I don't believe necessarily in segmenting of, you're put all the European guys together, all the general repair guys together. I think you're doing a disservice. I think it's good that we hear how different people run their businesses. We've had people that run their shop 4 days a week, and then people run their 7 days a week. And again, there's things to be learned from each other. There's no finger pointing that your business is right and yours is wrong. So that's really refreshing, because training programs and 20 groups are usually based around what the facilitator thinks is the right way to do business. And if you're not doing it the way he or she thinks, you're maybe on the outskirts. That's not what we do in our group. The content is formed based on the needs of the group. What do I mean by that? I mean that when we have our 2-day meetings, each shop owner brings an issue or an opportunity that they're dealing with, and they get to process that within the whole group. So it's not, hey, today we're going to talk about marketing, or we're going to talk about recruiting. We talk about those things because somebody in the group has that issue and they want to process that, and then that facilitates the conversation. Each member acts as a brain bank of collective knowledge. Members are honored by their experience and expertise. I don't care how much of a failure you think you are or a success you think you are. There are things that you can teach and help other people with, experiences that are unique to you that you may be able to help somebody else in the room work through. And so we honor your experiences, we honor your failures, we honor your successes, because all of those are important to you and to the group that you become a part of. And really, so what does that mean? The group member is in control. Now, does that mean that it's a free-for-all and people are talking over each other? Absolutely not. We do have a strict protocol and way that we run our businesses, and we keep people, or run our meetings, that we keep people engaged. And so it is not a free-for-all. It's a very, very structured professional meeting. We limit the group to 15 members. And that's a little bit controversial, because you go, Greg, if you had 50 members, wouldn't you make a lot more money? Or wouldn't there be more ideas floating around the room? Absolutely. But we have found that due to our structure, and each member gets a certain amount of time, usually 45 minutes or so to 50 minutes, that if we go beyond 15 members, then we're going to have a 3-day meeting instead of a 2-day meeting. So it really, really is important. We limit it, and it creates a level of intimacy and trust with each other. We don't have, these groups are not where people are coming and going all the time. Once a group is established, it's pretty rare that you see, maybe a year we have 1 or 2 people that kind of come and go, but it's not a high turnover group. And once you understand the mastermind concept and people really absorb it, they understand why. And so the facilitator becomes the mentor. So I'm there. I'm obviously going to share my experiences, both good and bad, and I'm going to help draw the experiences and the good and bad out of everybody in the room to make sure that each member leaves with the information that they need for their particular issue. Now, here's where the magic comes in, and I'm going to call it the collaborative brainstorming model. What you brought to the table, let's say you brought an issue of marketing to the table, and you got input from all these other super smart shop owners and what's been very successful for them and what their ideas based on your business model. You're part of the country, whether you're rural or in a city, and you feel like, boom, my notebook is full. I got what I came here for. Well, remember, there's going to be 14 other people in the room that all have issues. I promise you, you are going to get information from each and every one of those other issues that, this person's going to talk about hiring and recruiting. Boom, you're going to be able to take information on that. So another person in the room is working on an apprentice program, and you're like, wow, I got to work on my apprentice program. So you're going to take notes on that. Somebody else is going to talk about their sales process. Somebody else is going to talk about buying another shop. So I promise you, you're going to get a full brain of what you came for, plus you're going to glean a lot of information for what everybody else brought. And so when I talk about the collaborative brainstorming model, I like to picture this floating brain, and that is all the collective wisdom, knowledge, and experience of everybody in the room, and it all comes together. And imagine, you got your laptop with you, and you're plugging your Ethernet cable into this supercomputer, and you're just downloading all this tremendous information. That's really what this super brain that forms in the middle of the room as these ideas are going around and as people are talking about best practices. I get the argument sometimes, or the question, well, Greg, I'm on a Facebook group with other shop owners. Isn't that the same thing? It is absolutely not the same thing. When you have people that are like-minded, trust each other, and are committed to helping each other succeed, and it's an intense time of idea and brainstorming, none of those other groups can hold a candle to what can happen inside one of those meetings. So that's why Napoleon Hill, and that's why we call it the collaborative brainstorming model. So I want you to get outside of yourself a little bit, and I want you to imagine what your dream shop would look like. Is it that you're working on the business, not in it? That you're not writing tickets, you're not fixing cars, that you get to manage the business? I find that that's a dream of a lot of shop owners that own shops right now, but they don't know how to get out of that role. Are you making the money you deserve? You put a lot of risk on the table, a lot of hard work, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and hours and away time from your family. And some of you put a second mortgage on your house. Are you making the money that you deserve for the amount of hard work and knowledge that you have, right? And if you're not, then that's something we need to work on. In your dream shop, your employees are happy, they're engaged, and they're loyal. Really, really important to a successful business. You're taking 6 weeks off a year and your business does great. You don't come back to everything on fire and a big pile of issues on your desk that, hey, my company made money, my people were happy, my clients were happy, and I was able to take a significant amount of time off, way more than you would if you were working for somebody else. And importantly, are you giving back to your community? In this dream shop, do you have the extra income, the extra time, the extra resources to be able to help give back? And again, that could be in any way, shape, or form. That could be at your church, that could be at a school, that could be mentoring people, that could be building houses, that could be serving the homeless, whatever that is. Are you able to give back? And if not, what do we need to do to help you get there? Are you prepared for ADAS, hybrid vehicles, electric vehicles, self-driving vehicles? Do you have time to sit down and do some research and think, okay, if I'm going to be in this business the next 5, 10, 15 years, what are some of the things that I need to be working on today as far as training and equipment and research and knowing what those trends are? Because if you're wrapped up in your day-to-day stuff, the stuff is on the horizon, but you probably don't have time to really get prepared for that, and it could take you out in the business. Are you building a business that someone would be willing to pay top dollar for? Right now, in certain areas of the country, owning a good, successful automotive shop means that you have people that are willing to pay you some pretty good money for your shop. And so, if this dream shop is built, right, you're running this, you're able to take time off, you're making good money, you're able to give back, you've got great employees, you know what you're going to do for the future. And you may or may not want to sell it because somebody's going to come by. But if they do come by, they're going to have a pretty big check because you've built a business that's got value. We see too many people that wait way too long to start understanding what it takes to build a valuable business, and then they're working into their late 60s or 70s or even their 80s because they haven't put the foundational things into place to make their shop valuable, and they relied on that. They thought somebody was going to write them a big check, and that's how they're going to retire. So, succession planning, that's an important part of this. Most importantly, that you love what you do and you know why you do it. You've got some purpose behind why you have and why you're building this dream shop. So, How to have a thriving shop, one of the top 1% in America. We have some of these people in our groups, and it's exciting to be a part of that, to see just the tremendous growth that these people have and the passion that they have for their business and where they want to grow. And they're doing it without these things. They're doing it without high stress and long hours, and they're not back fixing cars. Now, in fairness, some people in our gold groups, when they lose their master tech because that's their skill, they're back doing it, but they're not staying there. They're working themselves back out of it. Same with selling service, right? Maybe they lose a service advisor or manager, they got to jump in, but they've got a plan and they got a way to work their way out of it. They realize they had a bad month, but they know what to look at. They know how to diagnose and work their way out of a low profit month. So doesn't mean that everybody has these perfect shops and everything's great all the time. But if you're going to be a top 1% shop, and I imagine that the reason that you're watching this video is because that is your dream, you want to be on top of there, we can help you do it without some of these pitfalls that a lot of people go through as they go to build a business. And why is that? Because a lot of us have been through this stuff, and we figured out, okay, let's not do that again. And so we can learn just as much from people's failures as we can from their successes. So when you're in a mastermind group, what's really the benefits? I love this picture. I think it's an illustration of an old German castle. And we're talking about building a castle around you and building a castle around your business. And if you know what a castle was about in the Middle Ages, it was a way of protection, it was a way of provision, and it was a thing of value. People went to war to get each other's castles. So it represents strength. And so for you to be a strong business owner, you need clarity. You need to know where you're at, and you need to know where you want to go. You need to have accountability. There's a level of accountability within these groups that if somebody starts going off the rails, you know that your brothers and sisters are going to wrap their arms around you and go, hey, enough is enough. You need to get this part of your life or your business straightened back out. Support. Incredible amount of support happens in our mastermind groups because people are rooting for each other, they're supporting each other, they understand that's why one of the big reasons we come together. There's a super high level of trust that we have a handshake non-disclosure agreement. What happens in these groups stays in these groups, both as far as trade secrets and personal things that are going on in people's lives that don't go outside of that room. So there's a level of trust that's built within these mastermind groups. And we leverage. We talk about different vendors, who's supplying what, who's the best point of sale system, who's the best CRM system, who's the best digital inspection, what vendors are offering what programs. And so we get to leverage and figure out who's doing the best and build off those relationships. And not just automotive vendors, but we're talking health insurance companies, we're talking about payroll companies, we're talking about insurance companies, all those kind of things that we all need contacts for. We all have heard the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So there's a lot of leverage with our relationships that we have across the country. And engagement. Talking to a lot of shop owners, they get burned out. They feel lonely at the top. They take their foot off the gas, and there's no one to hold them accountable, and there's nobody to recharge their batteries. So we hear that at the end of almost every mastermind meeting that we ever have as we do our wrap up, is people are just energized to get back into their business and take it to the next level. So if you're lacking that engagement and that enthusiasm for building your business and going to that next level and making a top 1% shop, then you really, really need to consider being a part of our mastermind group. And Napoleon Hill, he called it out. If you find yourself weak in persistence, surround yourself with a mastermind group. We continue to leverage and push each other forward. And a lot of times, I think we know it's not about that we don't know what to do. It's a matter of it's a big elephant to eat, and we don't know quite where to start. And sometimes we need a loving kick in the butt to get us moving forward and to get us to that next level. So I'm sure you can all relate to that, but that is part, again, of being in a mastermind group. So what are the requirements? This is not a free-for-all. This is an open enrollment, and anybody that wants to be in it can join. We do have pretty strict requirements to be a part of a group, because the minute we let some riffraff in here and people that are not really going to be engaged with it. We degrade the integrity of the group, and it's very, very important that we preserve that and we have a really good, strong group. So number one, it takes commitment. So commitment to be in the meetings. We have them 4 times a year. We'll be talking about that. We have Zoom meetings. We have internal communications between group members where there's document sharing back and forth. So really that's probably one of the things that people question is their ability to make this commitment. Now, my idea is if you can't take 2 days every quarter to work on your business and really dive in to get to that next level, then you're probably got a time management problem, not necessarily a commitment problem. So we do ask for a commitment. The meetings don't work if you're not there. So we definitely looking for commitment. You got to approach this with a transformational mindset, meaning that, you can't say, well, that's the way I've always done it. That's the way I'm always going to do it. Too bad for everybody else. You've got to come in and go, you know what? I've been successful to this point, but I am open-minded. I'm willing to learn more. I'm willing to have a transformational mindset. I'm willing to move from that technician to the manager to the entrepreneur to maybe even to the next level, which would be investor, where you're not hands-on your business at all. You own different investments that bring you return. Confidentiality, right? We talked about that. You've got to keep what happens in the group, no matter what. And so at the end of the day, this is a small industry. A lot of people know a lot of people, and to go out there and gossip and talk about other people and what's going on behind the scenes is absolutely, that'll get you kicked out of the group. You need to know your numbers. And so this is one of those differences that between a training program and a 20 group, a lot of those guys focus on numbers, meaning they have a portal, and every meeting you have, everybody goes through their numbers and they talk about their numbers. And we don't have that. And we have done that on purpose because we believe that if you're going to spend 2 days with other shop owners, spending 3 or 4 hours going through numbers is not the highest and best use of your time if you already have a good idea about your numbers. Meaning that we want people to have their own, they need to know what KPIs are, they need to know what KPIs they're looking for within their shop, and they need to have their own kind of dashboard or the way they measure their own KPIs and take a pulse on their business. Now, that doesn't mean that if somebody comes in and says, hey, I'm struggling with this certain KPI or my numbers are down here and there, we will absolutely dig into those numbers. We will dig into the real reason behind it. But we feel like this kind of group needs to be graduated from just talking about numbers all the time. So that's not a major focus on this group. And again, that means that this group is not for everybody, because there are people that need that heavy-duty number education type of thing. And if you need that, then let's talk about some individual coaching that we can help you with. Transparency. If people they need to be transparent. Like I said, we learn from our successes and our failures. We need to be able to be transparent with each other. Not everybody, is going to be having great months every single month and growing 10% year after year and have all the best employees. Crap happens in this business, and we're not going to be able to help each other if we're not transparent and help each other get through it. We're long-term focused. A 20 group and a 20 training program, they tend to have kind of a life cycle, 2 years, 3 years, and it's okay. I've learned everything that the facilitator has. Now it's time to move on to the next group. A mastermind is really long-term focused, and I like to we all grow together. In our original Platinum 1 group, I think we've added almost 20 new locations within the 15 members in there. And I don't know for sure, but I would say the amount of sales that everybody was doing cumulatively 4 years ago, I would say legitimately could very well be doubled. And so, and it's a group that is bonded together. We're long-term focused. We're all growing together. So that's very, very important that you have a long-term focus to be in one of our groups. And importantly, your willingness to invest in yourself and your future success. You're the most important thing that you can invest in. And you got to be willing to do that. And that means sacrificing time. That means some travel. That means a financial investment. But I promise you, there's no better investment that you're going to make than in yourself. And most importantly, willing to give and receive openly, meaning that I don't want people just to kind of sit back in the room and not be, I'm just going to sit back and listen to advice and take notes, but I'm not going to participate. There's got to be a willingness to give and take, even if you feel like, hey, that guy is more successful than me. What can he learn from me? I absolutely promise you that you have been through something or you have an experience that you will be able to help everybody else in the room. So it's very, very important that you're willing to speak up, willing to help other people, and be willing to receive feedback, even if it's something that you don't agree with or you don't want. And that's okay. You have the opportunity to do whatever you want with the advice, but you have to be open and willing to accept that. And then, what does that mean? We wrap around with, we leave your ego at the door. We don't need, this isn't a place where everybody just comes in and brags and says how great you're doing, or else you probably don't need to be in this group. So we leave our egos at the door. We come in, we're transparent, but we're all committed to help each other grow and get to the next level. Jim Rohn couldn't have said it better myself. We're the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And so when you're part of the Transformer family, when you're part of a mastermind group, you are spending time with people that are like-minded, that want to grow and transform their lives and our industry. And that's a great, great group of people that you will want to be around. Ratchet and Wrench did a study back in 2018. It's pretty self-explanatory that the statistics say people that work with coaches and peer groups, their businesses do better. It's in black and white. Most people that are in our program, either the gold or the platinum, have been through training programs. They've been through 20 groups before. That's how they got to the level of success. So if you're looking to say, you know what, I've been there, done that, how do I know this is different? This is an organization, this is a program that will help you even get further up into that next level. It is the next step for a lot of people. Now, are there people that are successful without it? Absolutely. Are there people that are within our group that this is their first real experience in that? Yes. But usually those people have some good, solid business acumen. They had a good mentor. They self-study. They read a lot of business books, and they're focused on being the best that they can be within their industry, within their community. Here's a quick testimony. Al Pridemore of Pride Auto Care. I got to fix this slide because they actually closed on their 5th location. We helped them with that process. It's a group of brothers, and you can just read that for yourself. They really truly attribute their success over the last 4 years. Not that they weren't successful before, but they have really supercharged their success with being part of the Transformers Mastermind program. So let's talk about the gold. Let's get to nitty gritty. This is what the gold membership looks like. So number one, we meet in a hotel here in Colorado Springs for a 2-day meeting 4 times a year. So if you're outside of this area, then yes, you're going to have to jump on a plane. You're going to have to stay in a hotel. We usually, people stay in the hotel that we have the meeting in. If you haven't been to Colorado Springs, it's a beautiful, beautiful town. It's a great place to spend some time, on the front end or the back end. A lot of people bring their families. People go skiing in the winter. They do hiking and outdoor activities and river rafting and all kinds of fun stuff in the summer. And it's in the middle of the country, and this is a nationwide group. There are people that come from New York, from Florida, from California, all in here. In fact, we even have some international people up in Canada that are part of our program. The meeting structure is collaborative brainstorming. I talked a lot about that. We also do bring in high-level guest speakers. They're not allowed to come in. It's not a sales pitch, but it is definitely educational. We have attorneys, we have real estate agents, we have insurance. We have HR executives, we have IT. We really try and bring in people that will help as a group elevate our business and give us tools, techniques to get our business to the next level. So really do have some great teachings that go on in there. And then the internal Transformer team, we also bring content, but it's not the main focus. The main focus is the collaborative brainstorming piece of it. We feed you. So breakfast is provided by the hotel. We feed you lunch. And then we all go out to a nice dinner, and that's on me. That's part of privilege of being in the group, and a lot of great conversations and a lot of great bonding. If you've ever been a part of this, happen on these during these meal times. And then the next day, again, the hotel provides a good breakfast, and then we feed you lunch. Unfortunately, alcoholic beverages are not included, and you can argue that with my insurance agent. Doesn't mean we don't sneak a few beers in between the end of the meeting and when we go to dinner. Group meetings we meet monthly via Zoom that we're not in person. So if we meet in January, February and March, we're going to meet on Zoom, and then we'll meet again in April. So we have a every quarter rhythm pattern as we go through those meetings. And so that keeps everybody connected. And again, sometimes we'll do some issue processing, sometimes we'll do some training. And so we kind of mix it up on those meetings. And then we also have a private Slack channel. For those of you that are familiar with it, you can transfer information back and forth. You can attach documents. You can talk to everybody. You can talk to people individually. You can have different channels if you want to talk about job descriptions in one and marketing in another. Real estate, you can kind of see that a little bit on the screen here. And what we have found is people love this. It's different. I know a lot of groups have closed Facebook groups, which I think we all know are not truly closed. People get in there, and it's not everybody likes Facebook, and so not everybody has that. Not everybody participates, but this is a much safer, more controlled environment where you can trust that the information is not going to get out. So this has been very, very popular. A lot of conversations. I think we've had over 10,000 a year within our Slack channel of just people going back and forth and exchanging ideas, exchanging documents. So it's a really, really great tool that we use here at with the Gold Group. Now, we're going to talk about some bonuses. So we've talked about what the structure of the group is, and now some additional things that we are putting into this program to make it even, like that's not good enough, right? That we're really going to make this special for you. So number one, each owner may attend our 2-day emotional intelligence. It's called Emotional Intelligence, the Pathway to Great Leadership, spoken by or taught by Dan Taylor, one of the premier trainers within the automotive industry as far as people management and human resources and getting people to reach their full potential. Just absolute 5-star. Every person that's ever gone through this has said this has been a life-changing class for them. So it's a live workshop. It's not pre-recorded. It's not something you can do on Zoom because it's a pretty a lot of things happen within the group dynamic. So we hold those 3 or 4 times a year. And so people fly in for that. It's not something that, in fact, we've had so many owners go through it. The next round, they want to send their leadership staff through it. They want to send their spouse through it. They want to send their kids. It's an incredible program. We have can send you out a brochure on that if you remind me, and I'll give you a little bit more detail. Also, if you are part of our group, that you get to attend our 4-day live service sales training. And so the question goes, I always get this, well, Greg, you just said before you don't want us right in service, you want us to elevate and work on the business. Absolutely. That doesn't mean that you don't need to know and your company doesn't need to have a bona fide sales system. And this is the system that helped grow Aspen from $2.5 million to over $9 million when Jason Servideo was doing sales training and then became the vice president of Aspen Auto Clinic before he came on board with me about 4 years with Transformers. And so what we've done is we packaged and put a sales program together. The reason we ask that the owners go through it is, number one, that if you're going to learn things, whether you're on the counter or not, things that you'll want to implement in your business. Number two, if you decide to send your staff to the training themselves, you know what to hold them accountable for, you know what they get trained on, you know what systems that you want to put into your shop. You can tell them, hey, this is what we're gonna make this change based on what we learned, but we're gonna leave the way we do it over here. We're gonna leave that alone. You have that information. But most importantly, you're watching this video. You want to grow your company, and you're not going to grow a successful company if you don't have a sales system that you follow. You're going to have one guy that works at Midas and another guy worked at the Audi dealer. Yeah, they both wrote service, but they're going to answer the phone differently. They're going to estimate different. They're going to prioritize different. They're going to present different. They're going to check out differently. So it's very, very important. If you want to be on a growth trajectory, you need to have a bona fide sales system that fits your business model. And whether you take ours, lock, stock, and barrel, or you take the ideas out of this plus what's worked for you and blend them together, you're going to be inspired to build a system. There are discounts available that if you like it and you want to send your advisors through it, you can certainly do that. We also have a pre-recorded online version that's also available to you. But I strongly recommend that the owners take advantage of this. We have so many testimonies that I can get you on how powerful this is and how they like the fact that I push them themselves to go through it, not just send theirs advisors and hope they come back with something. Another bonus benefit, up to 3 hours of one-on-one coaching is needed with the TI team. So usually that's myself, Jason, and Dan that makes ourselves available. We do have some other coaches on the team as well. So the mastermind program is not individual coaching. Now, we do offer individual coaching. We do have people that are in the mastermind, and in addition to that, they do coaching. So this isn't a coaching program. This is truly a mastermind program. But if somebody wants one-on-one coaching beyond the 3 hours that we're talking about here, we certainly make that available. But so this is for those, hey, I got a quick question. 3 hours doesn't sound like a lot, but usually the calls are 20-30 minutes, and we can help somebody that's stuck or needs some advice to get through something. And you're thinking, Greg, that's a lot. I know, but there's a little bit more. We are going to give you access to the Most Important 7 Inches, which is an online training program. And it's really about the fundamentals of what goes on in your brain. You can learn all the great information, but if your brain is not able to receive it, if you don't believe that you are worthy of that information, or you can accomplish it, or that you're stuck, I promise you that you will want to watch this training. It's going to help you get unstuck. It's going to help you to understand your potential and help you get in a better place to receive what you're going to get for being in the mastermind program. So that, again, is a $597 value that we put into the program once you make your commitment. So if we added all that up, we got a total value of about $13,855, almost $14,000, which would be $1,154 a month. Please don't turn this off, because that's not what this program charges or costs. So what else do we throw in there? We also have significant discounts on leadership training. So you go through it, you get yours, and you want to send more people through it, you get a significant discount on sending more people through that. Same with the advisor training, whether it's the online, whether it's live, and we also have a 12-month coaching program that goes along with that. Like I shared with you, we have one-on-one coaching, and then we do a on-site SWOT analysis, which is a strength, weakness, opportunity, threats. A lot of our shops have hired us to come out and spend a couple days within their shop and give them a complete analysis of where their shop is at and things that they need to work on, and give them some practical tools. So we can talk more about that if that's something you're interested in. We certainly have done that for people that are not in our mastermind program as well. But again, a lot of value can come out of that, of having some high-level professionals come into your shop and start digging deep, interviewing your employees, looking at your systems and processes, and figuring out how ways to make that better. So total investment, I know you're shocked, is only $697 that we can do it that low. It is low. It's probably artificially low. There's a lot of work that goes into this on the backside, but this is our way of giving back to the industry, and what we believe is the best bang for your buck is being a part of this mastermind group. In addition to that, if you're a TechNet member, we discount that another $30 a month, so it's only $667 a month. So the question always comes up, okay, Greg, what if I don't like it? What if I don't gel with the group? What if I just don't find it's a good fit? That we would ask you to make a commitment to come to get to a live meeting. So that usually can be a 1 to 3 month investment in the program. And if at the end of it you said, hey Greg, this isn't for me, we part as friends, and we would ask that the money that we've collected goes towards paying for the meeting and what you've got out of it, or you say, hey Greg, this has been the biggest waste of money, I can't believe it, I want my money back. We would absolutely be happy to refund it. In full disclosure, we've never done that. Nobody's ever asked for that. Usually people that make the investment and they come, they do become part of the group. And then that would be the third, is you say, hey, I'm all in, this is what I've been looking for, this is great, and you commit to a year, you get all these benefits. And the reason is, right, we don't want people that hang out for 1, 2, 3 months and they get all the training and then they're off to something else. That's not the DNA of who we are. So we do ask for a year commitment to get those benefits. And like I said, most people, they just continue on well after that. So What I like about this, it's the only school that pays you to attend. The information that you're going to get and be able to apply to your business is so far going to exceed what this membership fee is. It's not even funny. The real commitment comes from, it's not the financial, it's the time. Are you willing to put the time into and really make this program work for you? So, old African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So I appreciate you've spent the last 45 minutes with me learning more about the Gold Mastermind program. We do have a few openings, and hence why I'm putting this video out. And so if this is something you're interested in, we certainly want to hear from you. The information is available to you. And we also, we're starting a waiting list because there are some other groups outside of Colorado that we're looking to have one more on the East Coast and one more on the West Coast and in the Midwest. So we will be growing this program, but if you want to be involved in the existing groups that we have, you need to get with us right away. Greg@transformersinstitute.com. Send me a quick email if you want brochures on those training programs. Be happy to send that out to you. Let's get connected. Let's go through the interview process, make sure this is a good fit for you, and that we feel that you're a good fit for us. But look forward to talking to you about it. Again, Greg, Greg @transformersinstitute.com. So either myself or one of my colleagues will get on a call with you and go a little bit deeper and make sure it's a good fit. So look forward to seeing you either way, and appreciate your time. Thank you very much.